You've probably done it as a kid and closed your eyes, held out your hand, and guessed what someone was hiding behind their back. You were wrong almost every time. But in 1996, in a lab at National Taiwan University, dozens of children did it and were right. Again and again. Not by touching anything, by holding a sealed paper packet and somehow seeing through it. The man running that lab wasn't a mystic. He was Li Si-chen, the university's president, and one of the world's leading semiconductor physicists. For 30 years, alongside building silicon chips, he ran a second career, treating qigong, extrasensory perception, and what he called the spirit world as data, not folklore. He started with qi itself. Practitioners insist it's real, a force that flows through the body, and when it flows badly, illness follows. Confucius called it qi. Laozi went further, describing a formless first principle, the Tao, moving through everything and the part of it that enters a living thing and gives it life. That part is qi. Lose it, the old texts say, and you're not just sick, you're dead. Not because the heart stopped, because the qi did. That idea alone doesn't explain much. So Li Si-chen went looking for people whose qi had apparently done more than keep them alive, people who could read words with their fingertips or their ears without ever seeing them. In 1979, in Sichuan, researchers reported something strange. Over 1,000 children who could read characters using only their hands. One child had accidentally read a note with her ear during a game. Her classmates started trying it too, and word spread. Universities took notice. A cohort of 40 children ages 5 to 14 was trained specifically to read characters by touch. 16 succeeded, and the researchers noticed something specific. The ability appeared far more reliably before age 14, peaking between 6 and 8, and dropped off sharply once the brain matured past that window. Li Si-chen ran his own version of the experiment at NTU. Between 1996 and 2002, of 124 children tested over 4 days, 30 could read characters sealed inside opaque bags without opening them, without touching them directly. Here's where it gets strange enough that you should be skeptical the exact same way the scientists were. The success rate wasn't fixed. It depended on the child's mood. One training group barely worked until a parent told the kids the sessions were secretly Jedi training. Suddenly, most of the room succeeded. It depended on the container. A sealed paper bag worked, a plastic box didn't, and switching back to paper after a short retraining brought the ability back within the hour. It depended on whether their eyes were open, closed eyes failed, blindfolds failed too. The children said that with their eyes shut, the image simply went black. The same way ordinary vision needs external light to register color, and in near total darkness, even a normal eye loses color and sees only outline. And when researchers slid a solid board between a child's hand and the sealed character, the reading still worked. Li Si-chen never fully explained that one. His best guess: the body may project something beyond its physical boundary, call it qi, call it an extension of perception, that gathers information the way your hand doesn't need to touch your own head to sense that it's close. That's the part he called the mind layer, extrasensory perception, telepathy, the same finger reading, remote viewing, precognition, psychokinesis. And remote viewing wasn't only a claim out of Taiwan. In the United States, the Stanford Research Institute spent years testing a man named Ingo Swann under physicists Harold Putoff and Russell Targ, asking him to describe locations he had never visited, including in one now declassified test, features on the far side of the moon, described before any spacecraft photograph confirmed them. None of this began with Li Si-chen either. The University of Cambridge founded the Society for Psychical Research back in 1882. 140 years before his lab, specifically to study claims like these under controlled conditions. What he added was something Western researchers didn't have on hand: Qigong, a centuries-old discipline built for training the body towards states science still can't fully model. Every culture, it turns out, produces a handful of people whose abilities seem to switch on without any training at all. Edward Muybridge was an unremarkable bookshop owner until a stagecoach crash nearly killed him. He survived, but lost his sense of taste, smell, and hearing, and gained an obsession with capturing motion frame by frame, work that directly inspired the invention of film. Kim Peek, born with a damaged cerebellum that left him physically uncoordinated for life, could read a page in about 10 seconds and never forget it. He held the contents of roughly 12,000 books in his memory, word for word. Cases like these are rare enough that only about 20 have ever been formally documented worldwide. Nobody fully knows why trauma sometimes unlocks capacity instead of only causing damage. Li Xichen's theory is that none of this is a supernatural add-on. It's potential you already carry sitting dormant that a shock, or years of deliberate practice sometimes switches on. Then his research took its strangest turn. Skeptical physicists, testing his methods in person, asked one of his finger readers to identify a character sealed inside a packet. They chose the character for Buddha. The child couldn't perceive it at all. Not misread it, perceived nothing. Every other character worked fine. This one produced only white light, or a voice, or silence. They tried it in Tibetan script, same result. They tried God, they tried Jesus, and the reader saw a glowing cross instead of letters. They tried the Hebrew Old Testament, line by line. Every line was unreadable. Confucius blocked, Laozi blocked. Mencius, read easily, as if the effect had nothing to do with reverence in general, and everything to do with something specific. By 2001, the team tried something bolder, using a gifted child as a kind of receiver. They asked a question into whatever was producing this effect. When will humanity make contact with alien life? The answer came back, relayed as a voice only the child heard. Contact has already happened. Asked where the nearest civilization was, the answer was stranger still, everywhere. You simply can't perceive it. Over years of sessions like this, Li Xichen arrived at a working model. Whatever this is, it isn't a place anyone lives. It behaves more like a shared field of information, outside time and space, that different forms of intelligence, including in his framing, whatever produced those answers, can somehow reach into. He noticed something else worth sitting with. The great architects of the world's major philosophical and religious traditions, Moses, Confucius, Laozi, Siddhartha Gautama, Socrates, Plato, cluster inside a strikingly narrow window, roughly the 5th century BCE, across civilizations with no contact with one another. Something, in his reading, shifted globally all at once, and these were simply the people who reached deepest into it. It's worth naming plainly what this really is: a claim from a credentialed physicist testing his own method against skeptics who wanted him to fail and getting a result he could not explain rather than the one he expected. Whether or not you believe any of it, one detail deserves to stay with you. Every subject in every trial had to fail sometimes for the results to be taken seriously at all. 100% success rate would have meant it was staged. It was the failure, inconvenient, embarrassing, impossible to summon on command, that made the researchers trust any of it was real. So the next time something in your life refuses to be consistent, refuses to perform on demand, works one day and not the next, don't be in such a hurry to call it fake. Sometimes the thing that can't be reliably demonstrated is exactly the thing that's real.